Hi, this is Sarah at CH Homestead. So today we're going to be butchering all of our rabbits. We're going to show you how that process goes. We've got, I think we're going to be doing like 18 rabbits today. So quite a bit. Kind of show you how our setup's going. So we have the babies in here. These ones are obviously not ready, but they're ready to be pulled away from mom. Moms are getting really annoyed with them. So these will be going into the grow out area. That's mama up there, but babies. We've got 17 babies there. But then over here in our grow out pens, we have a bunch. So we've got, let's open them up here. We've got all these guys in here. They'll be going. Got more down here. We got to clean out their pen. I don't know why it didn't drop through. I think they were pooping on their hay. Definitely messy when you've got this many rabbits. They knock their food down, but so we actually let them go a couple weeks longer than we normally do. It just worked out better for our schedule. So I will be curious to see how much fat's on them. Did they really gain more meat, or is it just they got fat? Definitely I'll be curious to see how that works out. So we're going to transport all of these up to the garage. That's where we do all of our butchering at. So we'll show you how that goes. All right, so then when you're cleaning it, you find the joint, and you kind of, come a little closer, babe. Pull the skin out a little bit. You want to have a good pointy knife, and you kind of slide it in, and then slice up. So then you can see the meat there. Kind of pull it out, and you got to do that all the way around. Trying not to get any of the meat, because then it makes it harder to pull the pelt off. And there's a tendon in the back that you don't want to get either, because then it makes it floppy. Pull it away. Do it again on the other side. Accidentally got the tendon back here, so this one might be a little more difficult to pull the pelt off, but I'm going to try to get it separated there. Okay. Then you take down the center. You've got kind of this fat layer here. And you cut across the center here. Making sure you're not piercing anything when you're going through. This one's not tearing away the greatest. This is actually more meat exposed than generally. Like I say, we let these rabbits go a little bit longer, so it might be a little more difficult to clean. Just not wanting to break away. It's just not, the connective tissue's not tearing. It's tearing the meat. And sometimes they don't come apart perfectly. Normally it's a lot easier. These are definitely fatter, so we normally do these earlier. Not usually this much fat. So then I take at the tail, and sometimes it comes real easy. This is actually the poop sacks coming right out. And then we just kind of tuck in the fur parts, roll it up, and we put it in a trash bag until we have enough to tan, which from the previous one that we did and from this we'll actually have a lot of hides to tan. So we'll do that in another video. So then, find the stomach here. That's all their insides. And I cut toward me to make sure I'm not going to puncture anything. So then you locate the bladder. And you pinch that off on the top and slice it off because you don't want that going in your meat. This is all their intestines and you slice down until you get to the rib cage. All this will come out. So this here is the liver. The liver is important. You gotta examine your liver. So you always look, make sure there's no white spots, because if there's parasites in the rabbit, there will be white spots on the liver. And then you've got this little part here. It's a little bile sac. You want to pull that off. And then we save this and cook it down for dog treats. all this fat here. That goes in your waste. You've got your kidneys here, which you can also save for dog treats. And then it's just pulling out all this fat, because rabbit fat is not tasty. You want to get it out as clean as you can. Kitty's waiting for something. Guess I could have given the cat some. The livers. Then you've got the where the lungs are in here, so I generally just give it a little slit, pull it open. Gets kind of bloody here because the heart's in there, and I've not yet been able to clean a rabbit and not break the heart. You've got the lungs here. Here, kitty. Tiger, you just got blood on your head. And you know you've gotten through when you can bring your finger all the way through to the outside. We've got all the coagulated blood, and it gets kind of messy here. And then we rinse it out after we take it off, but you snap the legs here. Snap. You can save the rabbit feet. So then we'll bring it over here. We've just got a cooler of water. And it's really cold water. When it's hotter outside, we generally will have ice in there, but it's pretty cold right now. So it'll sit in there until we do the next step where we break it down. We're going to actually, the first 4, we're going to keep whole so that we're going to actually throw it in the smoker, and we're having rabbit for dinner tonight. Okay, so the first rabbit's clean now. We have 17 more to go. We're going to show you how we put them in the smoker after we get the first 4 done. And we're also going to show you how we break them down and part them out so that we'll let them soak in a brine for a couple days before we actually package them and put them in the freezer. But we're going to get the rest of these done, and we'll show you the other steps in a bit. getting them ready to season. And if you've never had smoked rabbit, it is phenomenal. Every time that we butcher, we always smoke a few. And she already had cleaned off all the fat from them.
Still finding pieces of fur.
Alright, so the spices that we're using is a brown sugar rub and a smoked applewood rub. We're going to do 2 of each. And you could break them down and smoke them that way, but we just smoke them whole. And they smoke for 2 hours uncovered, and then they get wrapped in foil for the last 2 hours to hold in the moisture, because you don't want it drying out. Rabbit's a very lean meat. And what temperature do we smoke them at, Renee? Wasn't it around
250?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We try to keep the smoker around 250. You don't want the temperature too hot. Couple of these, they look a little rough, but they'll still taste just as good. For some reason, this batch of rabbits, I don't know if it's because it's gotten colder, so they're just getting more fatty, or if it's because they were older, but some of them were only 12 weeks, and some of them were 15 weeks. And for some reason, when we were pulling pelts, it was completely pulling the belly meat away from the rabbit, so... they'll smoke and taste just as good. Alright, so we've got them all seasoned up. We're going to get them on the smoker, and when we pull them off, we'll show you what the finished product looks like. Alright, so we've got the rabbits in here in the kitchen. Now we're going to start breaking them down. So first thing we got to do is trim off as much of the fat as possible, because rabbit fat does not taste good. So it's just trimming. And it started getting really cold outside, so sometimes we cut off a lot of this outside, but it was cold, and we're like, nope, we'll just do it inside where it's warm.
I see.
So you break the hips.
Feel for the hip bone.
Let me turn. Here we go. She's cutting around the hip bone there. You want to make sure you have a pretty sharp knife, because you can cut through the cartilage and everything, but if you don't have a sharp knife, it makes it a lot more difficult. So these are what we call thighs. You know, this is kind of what you would have like a chicken thigh. We cook these on the grill. You can do anything you can do with chicken, you can do with a rabbit. So, a nice, beautiful thigh. Renee does this portion because she does way better at it than I do. I'm good at the cleaning and all that. Renee's really good at breaking them down. So, another thigh. Then we cut the belly fat off. Some people don't use the belly fat for anything. Well, it's not belly fat, it's the belly meat. So it's layered a lot like bacon. And we really like it when we smoke the rabbits. And it tastes similar to bacon when you smoke it. So we are going to try to do something similar to cooking it like bacon. And see how it goes. Some people will keep this and they'll keep a bowl off to the side, and all their little bits of meat that they cut off, they'll trim it out really good, and they'll make sausage out of it as well. We have not tried making sausage yet. So now we've got the front legs. And you feel for the shoulder and you're just cutting around it. And that's the front legs. And we call those our wings. And we cook them just like you would cook chicken wings.
This one's going to need cleaned up. All this skin needs to come off. So.
What about that little bone? What was that? What was that?
It's up here, buddy. Just cut around it. I don't think to mention that.
And there's also on the thighs, there's a little bone. That you need to make sure you get out, and Renee just cuts around it when she's taking the thighs off. We forgot to mention that. It's just one of those things, you just do it automatically.
So it needs to be chilled more.
Yeah. Last time we did the rabbits, we soaked them in ice all night, and they were really stiff, but so we wanted to see if it would be easier to clean them while they're still warm. And it is a lot more difficult, in Renee's opinion, to clean it when it's warm, because it's just harder to get that skin and fat off. Okay, and then there's 2 small little loins in the center there. You don't get a lot of meat off that. That's meat that a lot of people will use to make their sausages because it's just not very big. It's just a really tiny little piece of meat, but you could do whatever you want with it.
Elizabeth loves
Elizabeth likes chicken nuggets, little chicken strips.
Chicken nuggies.
Like I say, our biggest thing is we like to get as much meat off as possible and utilize everything we can. And then there's the other loins, or backstrap, however you want to call it. We call them loins. So she's cutting along the bones there. Flip it over.
We gotta get the skin off.
And these rabbits were a lot fatter, more fatty, because they were a little bit older. So we've had a lot more we've had to cut off. This is silver skin she's taking off right now. You don't want to leave that on. It's tough and nasty.
And these rabbits, I don't know if it's the time of year, but they seem to have more, and it's tougher.
Yeah, because the last rabbits we did, you could just pull it right off. You didn't have to, and I don't know if that too was because we chilled them overnight. So they were really stiff. Because we were able to just pull that silver skin right off. Get your finger under and just pull it off.
Using quite a bit of force, and it is not breaking. And that's unusual. So here's the line.
Cut along the spine. And then you just follow the rib cage down.
That's a tendon. I really don't want that.
And this is only our second time calling our rabbits, so we definitely are not professionals by any means. We just figured we would take you guys on the journey and kind of see how we're doing it. Everybody has their own little ways of doing it, but if you're new to meat rabbits and you just are trying to get as much information and trying to figure out how you break it down and things like that, hopefully this video is helping.
This is the tendon. You want to make sure you take that off. It's not that you can't eat it, but it'll curl your meat up.
And there's our loin. And do the same thing to the other side. Got that silver skin.
Just wanting to pull the meat with it. Don't do that. Get under it. Difficult sometimes to get under this.
Yeah, I think we definitely liked cleaning them better when they were stiffer and they had soaked in the ice. It was almost like they had partially frozen because they were packed in the ice all night, and like I say, this silver skin just pulled right off. But like I say, we're still trying different ways, just trying to see what's the best and easiest way to do it.
At least I got it off the loin. Let's see if I got any more. Yep. I guess it's not really. We'll see what happens after I get it cut off. This one's giving me a lot of trouble. We made it.
Okay, and there we go.
There is still some skin.
And last time we butchered, we made, we had canned up, or Renee rather, had canned up quite a bit. We just canned the loins. Did make nuggets out of some of it, but just did it as canned meat. So now there is still quite a bit of meat left on the carcass. So what we do, we boil it down, make rabbit stock, use it for anything that you would use chicken stock for, and then after it's been boiled down and we have our stock, then we strip all the little bits of meat off. And that makes amazing shredded rabbit, and we made a enchilada dish last time, and it was amazing. So we really try not to waste any part of the rabbit. We really try to utilize everything. All right, well, I hope that helps anybody that's new to rabbits and is trying to figure out how to break them down and how you go about it. And we'll be pulling the other ones out of the smoker here shortly, and we'll show you what those look like. All right, so the rabbit has been in the smoker for 2 hours. So we are getting ready to wrap it in the foil and put it back in. So we're going to see it's looking delicious, very juicy. Cannot wait to eat it. Think about it. As you can see, when she wrapped it, she kept that belly side up on that one because all the juice was in there. The other one flipped over on us, but that's all right. It'll still be really juicy.
Still pretty juicy in there, though. See it?
Oh, yeah. This is going to be so delicious. Alright, we will go put these two back in the smoker, get the other two wrapped in foil, and wait another 2 hours. And we'll show you what everything looks like when it's done. Alright, the rabbit is out of the smoker. This is what one of them looks like. I almost completely forgot to show it. And it is falling off the bone. I've already cut up 2 of them. And some plates have been made already. So there was obviously a lot more than this. But it is falling off the bone, falling apart. That is how tender it is. So we're going to go ahead and eat this deliciousness. Kids already have their plates. But it is delicious. Couldn't have asked for it to turn out better. Alright, so that concludes our video for today. I really hope you enjoyed and learned something watching us color rabbits, and it's going to be great having this meat in the freezer. Like, say we're going to be taking up, after we finish eating, we're going to be taking up one of the rabbits we smoked to a local restaurant owner, and we're hoping to get into business and start selling him some of our rabbits. So we're going to be doing that, but hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.